Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today. Today, we're talking about how to retire with around 170 million naira in Nigeria, starting with just 67,000 naira every month. Now, have you ever looked at your salary and thought, there is no way someone like me can ever retire rich? Now, let's assume you earn around 300,000 naira every month. Now, after paying rent, buying food, paying for transport, sending money home, to your loved ones, parents and whatnot, and handling the bills in your own house. After doing all of those expenses, retirement often feels like a problem for another day because almost nothing is left to save for retirement. But what if I told you that someone earning that same salary could end up with around 170 million naira by retirement? Now, it's not by betting, it's not by, crypto gains, it's not by doing some, shady things like, scam, Yahoo. Well, it's just by investing 67,000 naira every month and allowing time to do the heavy lifting. Well, I know that sounds too good to be true, but let's do the math together. And by the end of this video, you will understand why time is more powerful than AI salary. Now, before we begin, one important disclaimer though. Everything you see in this video is based on assumptions. These are not guarantees. Now we are assuming an average annual return of 13%, which is close to what some Nigerian money market fund have delivered in certain periods, right? Now that 13% is me just being conservative because most mutual funds actually deliver around 15%, 16% and upward. So returns goes up and down. Nobody can promise this every year for the next 25 years. But keep this in mind, we are assuming that you will invest every single month without missing a payment. You will never withdraw the money and every return you earn stays invested. So this is actually a projection, not a promise. Now let me introduce you to two friends, all right? Let's call them Tunde and Chinedu. They are both 28 years old. They both work in Lagos and they both earn 300,000 naira every month. Neither of them inherited money at all. They both struggling. They didn't come from wealth. All right. They just trying to hustle their way through. Neither of them owns a business. All right. So from the outside, their lives look almost exactly the same, but one decision changes everything for both of them. Now, let's first look at their monthly budget. Out of the 300k salary, let's say they spend around 50,000 naira on rent, right? 55,000 naira on food, 30k on transport, 20,000 naira supporting family, which is sometimes again turns out to be black tax, 10,000 naira on data, and another 10,000 naira for church or mosque donation or tithe or offering. Then another 58,000 naira on everyday expenses and miscellaneous. Now that leaves us with about 67,000 naira. I know some people will say, well, my expenses are different. Well, you are absolutely right. However, this isn't exactly your budget. It's simply an example to show that many middle income earners can create room to invest if they plan carefully. Now, here's where the story changes. Every month, Tunde receives his salary. By the second week, he's already thinking about, upgrading his phone. A new wristwatch catches his eyes. There is an Owambe somewhere this weekend for him to attend. Friends invite him out. He orders food almost every day because he's too tired to actually cook in the house. Now, whenever his salary increases, his lifestyle also increases as well, which is technically lifestyle inflation. Now, whenever he gets a bonus, he spends it before the month even runs out. He tells himself, I'll start saving when I earn more. The problem is next year, he says the same thing. Now, let's take a look at Chinedu. Chinedu is not perfect. He also enjoys life. He goes out sometimes, he buys new clothes, he travels during holidays, but every payday, before he spends 1 naira, something happens automatically. 67,000 naira leaves his account and goes straight into his money market fund. Now, if you have never heard of a money market fund before, do not worry, I'll break it down. It's simply a type of investment where your money is placed in things like treasury bills, bank deposits, and other short-term investments that are generally considered low risk than stocks. It doesn't make you rich overnight, but when you're consistent with it, trust me, it does wonder. And consistency is where the magic actually shows itself. Now let's fast forward. 1 year passes, nothing exciting happens. Chinedu has invested around 804,000 naira. Tunde has plenty of memories, lot of receipts, and maybe the latest, model of iPhone, which is the latest phone, of course. Then 5 years passes, still nothing dramatic. Nobody is calling Chinedu a millionaire, right? Nobody's interviewing him on TV. In fact, most people around him probably think he's missing out on life. Then somehow, some way, something interesting begins to happen. His investment start earning returns. But here's the beautiful part, because the returns themselves also begin to earn returns. This is called compound interest. That sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. Imagine you plant one mango tree, right? After a few years, that tree produces many mangoes. Now, instead of one tree producing mangoes, you have many trees producing even more mangoes. That's exactly how compound interest works, right? Your money earns money. Then the money your money earned also starts earning money. I hope this is not like a tongue twister, all right? So those earnings start earning money too. It's like building a team that keeps working even while you're sleeping. Now let's do the actual maths. Every month, Chinedu invests 67,000 naira. He keeps doing this for 25 years. 25 years is 300 months. So how much money did he personally contribute? That's easy. 67,000 naira multiplied by 300 months equals 20.1 million naira. So after 25 years, Chinedu has already put in about 20 million naira from his own pocket. Now comes the interesting part, right? Assuming an average annual return of 13%, with every return staying invested and no withdrawal, his investment could grow to around 117 million naira. Think about that for a second. He contributed roughly 20 million, but he ends up with around 117 million. Now ask yourself, where did the remaining money come from? It wasn't working from overtime job. It wasn't, from a second job. It wasn't from, promotion at work. It came from time. It came from compound growth. His money was working almost as hard as it was. This is one of the biggest lessons in investing. Many people think wealth comes from, saving huge amounts. However, in reality, for long-term investors, wealth often comes from giving your investment enough time to grow. Now, here is another lesson that most people don't realize. Starting early is more important than investing perfectly. Imagine someone waits until age 38 before they start investing. They still invest every month, right? They still earn the same return. But now they will only have 15 years instead of 25 years. Even though they invest faithfully, they actually lost 10 valuable years of compound growth. And those final years are usually when investment grow the fastest. This is why financial experts always say the earlier you start, the easier the journey becomes. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking or, asking yourself right now. The question is, what about inflation? That's a fair question. Inflation simply means the prices of things, going up over time. For instance, the bread you bought 500 naira a few years ago may cost around 1,002 today, even much more. So yes, inflation reduces what your money can buy. That's exactly why leaving your money in a normal savings account for decades may not be enough. The goal of investing is to give your money a better chance of growing over time. Although no investment can guarantee it will always beat inflation every single year. That's why this example uses a money market fund with assumed long-term interest, which again 30%, not a regular savings account. All right, so let's go back to our two friends. At the age of 53 years old, both of them retires. Tunde spent most of his working life believing retirement was still far away. Now retirement is here. His salary has stopped. His expenses sadly haven't stopped. It now depends mostly on his children, family members, or maybe a pension that may not fully cover his needs. Chinedu, on the other hand, has also retired, but his situation is quite different. He now has an investment portfolio worth around 117 million naira based on the assumption we have discussed so far. Does that mean all his financial problems disappeared? Of course not. Life is still unpredictable. Medical bills can happen, inflation continues, markets change, but he has options, he has choices. And in personal finance, having choices is one of the greatest form of freedom. Here's the truth. Most people don't fail because they earn too little. Many fail because they never allow time to work in their favor. Every month they postpone investing. I'll start next year. I'll start after my promotion. I'll start after I get a raise. I'll start when I get married. They keep giving excuses, but before they know it, 10 years have gone by. The biggest mistake isn't missing 1 month. The biggest mistake is never starting at all. So here is a question for you. If your future self could visit you today, what do you think they would say? Would they thank you for making small sacrifices today? Or would they ask you why you waited so long to begin? Remember, Chinedu didn't become wealthy because he was lucky. He didn't become wealthy because he earned millions every month. No, he became wealthy because he made one simple decision over and over again, every month and for 25 years. That's what consistency looks like. All right. And that's what compound interest rewards. Now, if there's one thing I hope you can just take away from this video, it's this. Building wealth is usually not about finding the next big opportunity. Rather, it's about making one good financial decision and repeating it for many years. Now, the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. So, even if you can't invest 67,000 naira today, don't miss the bigger lesson. All right. Start with what you can afford, but stay consistent. While you're consistent, also increase your investment as your income grows. And most importantly, give time the chance to work for you. All right. Because years from now, your greatest financial regret may not be investing the wrong way. It may simply be waiting too long to start. If you gain value from this video, please like and subscribe so you do not miss my next video. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.